Good morning. My name is Kumu and I'm going to tell you a legend from my home about the creation of the best strawberries. So in my culture, we are a matrilineal culture, so we care more about the girls than anything else in the world. So as a young man, freshly married, I was in a situation where I was doing my things and carving and hunting and coming into the house and being a good husband in my opinion. And out of nowhere, my wife stormed through the house, upset and angry, blew open the cabin door, and went stomping through the field out towards the forest. So I didn't know why she was upset. I thought to myself, "Self, what have you done?" And I couldn't think of anything that I had done wrong. So then I asked the Creator, "What have I done wrong, Grandfather?" And he said to me, "Go and ask the person that is upset with you." So I went outside to try to catch her, but she was already across the field, almost to the forest. So I tried to run to catch her. She had already entered the trees. And I was running and I said, "Please, Grandfather, please. I need help. Slow her path so I can catch up to her." So the grandfather said, "Okay, I will do this." So the first thing he did was lower a giant apple branch down, we call shonkta. The apple was here, large and juicy, ready for her to pick. But she didn't pick it. She just pushed the branch from the side and continued on. So she kept going angrily, and the grandfather said, "Oh, she is quite upset. I don't know what you have done." And so he said, "Please, Grandfather, it is important that we have a chance to talk. I need this to be settled so we can be happy again. Please try something else." So the grandfather said, "I will try something else." He said, "If she will not stop for the fruit, then I will put something in her path that will make her stop." So he put a plant we call dog hobel in the way. It's many twisted branches and vines that came and closed around her feet. But she just stomped and pulled her way through and was able to break free through the dog hobble and continued on into the forest. And then the grandfather said, "Oh, she must be quite angry because even the bear will get stuck in that branch." And I said, "Well, please, you must try something, please." And he said, "Okay, I know what to do. No Cherokee woman or man can ever resist the temptation of the blackberries." So he put in front of her large blackberry bushes with huge ripe blackberries. She did not want them. She just pushed aside. The blackberry bush also has many thorns and branches and vines on it. So the grandfather said, "Well, if she will not stop for the fruits, I will have to do something else." So he began to reach with the vines and the thorns, and they were tearing and cutting at her arms, and she still didn't care. She still kept stomping through the forest. And I said, "I don't know what I've done, Grandfather, but I need to talk to her. I need to be happy with her. She is the love of my life. She is my everything. It's what we call uganasti. She is the sweetness of my life." So I tell him, "Please, Grandfather, please, you must think of something." And then in that moment, in that one brief moment, my wife stepped, and there's a small squish under her foot. And then she smelled the sweetest smell she's ever smelled. So she stopped, and she looked down, and underneath tree-spreaded leaves was a very small red plant. It had a fruit just like a heart, and it's called the strawberry. She plucked the strawberry and looked at it. It was something she had never seen before. It was so soft and fragile, even her fingers would bruise the texture. So she took it and put it into her mouth, and it was the sweetest fruit she had ever tasted in her life. So she was so happy and excited to have something new and different, and the joy overwhelmed her. She stopped and said, "I cannot wait for my husband. He needs to also taste these fruits." So she gently lifted the leaves and she began to pluck them, and she put them here into the front of her dress and made a pouch. And she gathered all of the strawberries and then turned around to come back towards the house. And that's when she and I met face to face and stopped. And I said, "Listen, I need to," and she said, "No." And before I could speak, she put into my mouth the strawberry. And in that moment, we realized nothing else matters. All of the small things that you are angry with, they are not as important as the love that a couple shares for each other, the same love that every family shares for one another. So even today, in our homes, we will put on the kitchen, we will have a jar filled with honey, and inside that honey, we will put the strawberries. That always remembers a wife to let her know the most important thing that a husband ever have for her is love. That's my story.